It's about to go.
my dad is his personality. It's such a big personality. He's unapologetically himself.
Basically, anytime you ask him for something, he'll always do what he can to be there.
He could barbecue. Amazing. He taught everybody in the family how to barbecue for everything. He barbecued for the Elks Lodge, he barbecued for the church.
He does great things for me. He teaches me more about baseball and all this.
He works at our school, so we get to see him often. The best thing about my dad is I like when we go fishing with him. Yeah, he's really funny too. He's funny.
That he can take us up and make us walk on the ceiling.
He's super supportive, funny, and he's bold.
We love Dad. We love Dad. Papa, cute.
I don't know. I'd probably go to Hawaii or something.
I would build anything, everything I could, because he's great with his hands.
I'd go play golf just whenever I want, like he does.
I would leave behind the kind of blessing that he left for us. Just making sure everybody knew that they were loved by the Lord and they were loved by the Jesus. They were loved by, by him. He did a really good job about that, of loving people.
Probably change a light bulb. I think I would go fishing. I want to be tall. I think I would go fishing.
I don't know. I would probably do the monkey ride.
I don't know. He isn't very funny at all.
All of his dad jokes are really bad, so I don't know.
Oh gosh. It's one of those things where he's said them so many times you kind of block it from your memory.
Anytime any waiter or server asks him anything else, he always goes straight to winning numbers to the lottery. I don't know if that's his best, but that's his most common. That's the one I hear practically every day.
I remember when I was younger, he would always say, if we had to go to the bathroom, he would tell us to go drain the tank, and I did not like when he said that.
I think his best dad jokes is when he tells jokes about our mom when she says something. He makes it in a high-pitched voice. It's really funny.
Why was the cat afraid of the tree? Because of its bark.
Being that I'm from Zambia and I have this English accent, my daughter would always say, "Dad, it's not lemonade, it's lemonade."
Okay, my dad joke is, what do you call a bundle of hay that goes to church? Christian Bale.
Happy Father's Day, Dad.
Happy Father's Day. Happy Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day, Dad.
Happy Father's Day to all you guys out there who are doing a great job being dads, husbands, hard workers, and Christian men of God. Hallelujah.
Come on, stand with us if you can.
That could ever stand against your might. You've always been with us. Every battle you've already won. Oh, we've already won.
Sing this. There is no weapon.
There is no weapon that has ever left a mark on you. And there is no army with the power to conquer truth. You've always been with us. Every battle you've already won.
let's give it up one time for all those guys out there working real hard to be good dads. Happy Father's Day. Turn to the person next to you, give them a high five, tell them it's good to see you. You smell real nice this morning. We're going to continue to worship.
Days may be darkest,
thought by now they'd fall, but you have never failed me yet. Waiting for change to come, knowing the battle's won, for you have never failed me yet. Your promise still stands, great is your faithfulness, faithfulness. I'm still in your hands, this is my confidence, you never fail me yet. You failed me. I know the night won't last, your word will come to me. My heart will sing your praise again. Jesus, you're still enough. Keep me within your love. My heart will sing your praises. Come on, church, your promise still stands. Your promise still stands. Great is your faithfulness, faithfulness. Still in your hands. I'm still in your hands. This is my confidence. You never fail, never fail. Your promise still stands. Great is your faithfulness, faithfulness. I'm still in your hands. This is my confidence. You never fail me yet. Never failed me. Never failed us. Now, I want to hear the church sing out this morning. I've seen you move. I've seen you move. You move the mountains, and I believe I see you do it again. You made a way when there was no way, and I believe I'll see you do it again. I see you move. You move the mountains. And I believe I see you do it again. Made a way when there was no way. I believe. Come on, stay right there. I see you do it. I see you. I see you move. You move the mountains. And I believe I see you do it again. Made a way when there was no way. I believe I see you do it again. I see you do it again. See you do it again. I see you do it again. Your promise still stands. Great is your faithfulness, your faithfulness. I'm still in your hands. This is my confidence, you never fail. Your promise still stands. Great is your faithfulness. Faithfulness. Still in your hands, Lord. Still in your hands. This is my confidence. You never fail me. You never fail me. I never will forget.
Who's confident in that this morning? Isn't that awesome? I love knowing we're in his hands. You guys were awesome. Thank you so much. It was so cool to have them up here for Father's Day. All of you guys. If you guys are new with us, my name's Andy. I serve as the student ministry director with my wife, Donna, and we're just stoked to have you here on Father's Day. Thank you for choosing to spend Father's Day with us. Thank you to everybody up here again and everybody in the back. Well, listen, I know we already sort of greeted a little bit once already, but we're friendly people. We like to hug, shake hands. So if you want to take a minute and just introduce yourself to somebody you don't know or somebody you do, we'll get started in a second. Right. Well, we have to start this morning off the right way by saying Happy Father's Day to everybody. Glad you're here. Donna asked me earlier in the week what I wanted to do for Father's Day, and it took me all of 2 seconds to say nap. Just want to chill at home, sit on the couch. I remember like 7 or 8 years ago, we lived in North County. Didn't have any plans for the day. And we thought, oh, it'd be fun to go get one of those Intex pools, the above-ground pools, and set it up in the backyard. You know, we could swim and chill. I can barbecue. It'll be a fun day. So we headed to town, went and picked up a pool, got home. And, you know, it's the strangest things, those pools, it says right in the directions they have to be set up level. I guess water sort of settles out in a level position. And I don't know if you guys have ever looked at your yard and thought, oh, it's pretty flat, right? Like it looks good. That's what I thought. And then I started setting it up, and I broke out the level, and I was like, dang, this is not flat. This has a lot of work to do. So I'm out there digging, you know, tracing out the pool and trying to level out the ground and make a spot for the pool and set it up. And it's like 105 because it's Paso. You know, I'm out there sweating, working away. And then I hear the kids. We used to have this big playroom right off the back of the house by the yard, so I could hear them playing, having a good time in the AC. And I thought, it was like around 5 o'clock, and I started realizing we're not going to get water in this thing, and I'm not going to be able to barbecue and chill like we wanted to. was like, I don't know that this is how Father's Day is supposed to go. But anyway, since then, I've been a little more careful about what I choose to do on Father's Day, and usually it's something like, I want a nap. So I hope you guys have plans, something good to do. Speaking of Father's Day, we do have some gifts out there for you guys. We wanted to do something special. So there's some little mason jars with some spice rub that we put together. Barbecuing really is one of the things I do to relax. That's something that I love to do, so hopefully you guys like to do that as well. We are asking that you just take one of those jars, and we're also asking, we know the kids love to grab it for their dads, right? Because we all want to spoil our dads. But we're asking that we just let the dads grab them. That way, if you got 3 kids, you don't end up with 3 jars, and everybody can get one. And then we're also, as much as we would love to send those out to other dads that aren't here, we want to keep them, make sure everybody gets one. So just for the dads that are here, if you guys don't mind, that would be awesome. And then if there's extras, we can hand those out. All right. So we have been talking about Hebrews. This is our 3rd week, so we're in chapter 3. And I wanted to give you guys a quick rundown, a background of Hebrews. So Hebrews was written for the Jewish Christians who were being persecuted by Jews and Romans alike. They were being tempted to revert to Judaism and needed reassurance that Jesus was the promised Messiah. So for us, growing up, whether you grew up in the church or not, we sort of understood who Jesus was because we had the whole story, right? So this wasn't difficult for us to understand. In fact, you most likely learned about Jesus before you learned about Moses, odds are, right? So for us, this wasn't difficult, but for the recently converted Jewish Christians, this was a new concept, right? They were used to living under the Mosaic law. So I'm going to start in verse 1, because it seems like a logical place to start. And I'm going to read from the NLT. I love the NLT because it just flows better for me. It's easier to understand. But anytime you're studying the Bible, it's good to look at footnotes or compare to other versions of the Bible, right? So that you can get a better understanding. And the NLT is slightly abbreviated sometimes. So I read the NLT, and I'll read that to you now. It says, "So, dear brothers and sisters who belong to God and are partners with those called to heaven." That sounds exciting, right? Partnered with God and called to heaven. I got excited when I read that, and we should. "Think carefully about the Jesus whom we declare to be God's messenger and high priest." So again, this kind of got me excited. And then I read the NIV, and I will read that to you now. It's slightly different. And it says, "Therefore, holy brothers and sisters who share in the heavenly calling." See, already we're being called to do something. Not that we weren't in the NLT, but this just says it a little bit different and sort of caught my attention. "Fix your thoughts on Jesus, whom we acknowledge as our apostle and high priest." Can you guys kind of feel the difference in the two? They have they're saying the same thing, but if you just read the NLT, you might not pick up on this calling that we have. We're being told to do something here, which is act holy, and it's a mission, right? It's something that we're being directed to do. We're supposed to act in a certain way. So I want to focus on that holy part for a minute in the NIV version. And as I said, when I read the NLT, I got excited about belonging to God. And this is something we should all be excited about, but we tend to overlook the holy part sometimes, right? And when I was thinking about that, when I read this version and kind of pondered it, I thought to myself, how many of us are actually living holy lives? And that's something that I ask myself frequently, right? We often focus more on the forgiveness and goodness of God, which are amazing beyond words. But God's willingness to forgive should not excuse our choice to sin. I'm going to say that one more time. God's willingness to forgive should not excuse our choice to sin. It doesn't allow us to do whatever we want knowing He will forgive us, right? Will we sin? Yes, of course. Right? We will. None of us are perfect, but it's where our heart's at. Are we really seeking to live holy lives? Several years ago, I was sitting around with somebody I care a lot about, someone whose opinion matters a lot to me. There was actually quite a few of us, but this conversation started between me and one other person, and then everybody joined in. We're just talking about life. And the conversation about life sort of turned into a conversation about theology, right? And we were all sort of thinking, surely some of the things that our parents thought were wrong when we were kids aren't wrong today, right? Culture's changed. The Bible wasn't talking about the same things How many of you guys have ever had a conversation or heard a conversation like that? You know, that's different now, right? So the topic was mostly centered around sex and living with a partner. There are a lot of churches falling into this very trap today. And this is a simplified version, so forgive me, but the argument goes something like this. The Bible wasn't referencing marriage as we know it today. It was just referring to the seriousness of the relationship. As long as you're serious and committed to not sleeping around with different partners, it's okay. Have you guys ever heard that argument? It's out there. This is one of the arguments that have led to the recent justification of homosexuality and gay marriage within the church. It's also a great example of how small justifications can lead to huge errors in understanding God's design for our life. This misunderstanding can be used to justify many things. Inebriation. So I want to be very clear. I don't think the Bible says we're not allowed to drink. I like to drink every once in a while, and there's nothing wrong with that. It may be a sin for some people at certain times, right? But in itself, it's not a sin. And we could spend time debating that. I would love to talk to people about that more. But anytime you're inebriated, whether it's alcohol, whether it's marijuana, whether it's pain pills, it doesn't matter. When you lose control of your body, that's a sin, right? Drunkenness is a sin. It's very clear in the Bible. And you can't say, well, I'm responsible, or I stay home, or I don't drive. That's great. But none of those things are mentioned in the Bible as excusing sin, right? The second one is sex, which we already talked about, right? This is something that people try to justify with different means. Anger. Does anybody in here ever try to justify your anger? Righteous anger? Yeah, probably not. Gossip. Talking to other Christians about someone behind their back is not the same as praying for them. The list goes on. So I want to take a minute about where I was at in my life at the time I was having those conversations, right? The time I was justifying those things with different people, and what I've learned over time. The closer I get to God, the more I realize the reason I was avoiding my calling for so long, and I was avoiding my calling, was because deep down I knew the level of commitment it would take, and that scared me. Donna's always teasing me. She's saying I'm extreme with everything. I'm all or nothing. I can't just do something part way. Some people call me OCD. I joke and call myself OCD sometimes, but I'm the type of person that I can't just like straighten up. You know, I got to go deep clean stuff. I need to get the toothbrush out and scrub the grout. You know, I have to pull the couch out, vacuum under it, all that stuff. It's hard for me to just move a few things around and then start seeing other things that need to be cleaned. And that probably sounds great to a lot of people. Oh, wow, he's a deep cleaner. But what that really means is I just don't clean very much because I don't have time to do that. Anyways, I didn't want to take the time, or I was afraid to find out what was going on in here and what deep cleaning needed to be done, right? So I was avoiding the whole thing. There was a false sense of security with the unknown or the ignorance. For the longest time, I thought, God can't judge me if I don't know the answer. You guys ever thought that way? The ostrich syndrome, stick your head in the sand, right? Put your blinders on. Plainly put, ignorance is not an acceptable excuse to God for sin, right? We can't play that game. So I remained ignorant on purpose because I didn't want to find out that my sin was actually sin. There was a safety in numbers thing too, right? If other people I loved and respected agreed that the things we were doing were okay because culture had changed, and that's not really what the Bible was saying, that felt safe. Have you guys ever done that? Like looked for affirmation from other people, even if what you're saying isn't necessarily right? And we always go to the wrong people too. We don't go to people that know what they're talking about, right? We go to people that we think are going to agree with us. I didn't want to do the research to find out if I was right or wrong because I wanted to stand before God someday and apologize for ignorance and not intentionally disobeying Him. That's not how it works. Our God is merciful beyond anything we can imagine, but He's given us the answers, and we don't get to play stupid. Deep down, I truly believe sometimes we all know we're playing a little bit stupid, right? We're putting our blinders on. We're not trying to find the answer. But here's the greatest part of this whole thing. If we stop playing and we start getting serious, what's the theme of Hebrews? Jesus is greater, right? Jesus is greater than our sin. Jesus is greater than our temptations. He can pull us out of the things we think that we need and show us something far greater. A peace and a joy we can never have while we're stuck trying to hold on to the very things that are making us miserable and we think we need. So it's time for all of us, including me, to make a choice. Are we going to stop playing dumb? It got quiet. Are we ready to truly live holy lives? Not perfect lives, holy lives. Holy through the continued sanctification of Jesus' sacrifice and forgiveness, but with a heart seeking to live like him, not a heart looking for loopholes. So I want to be careful. I don't want some people, if this is your first time coming to church, or maybe you haven't been for a while, or wherever you're at, I don't want to mislead you or have a misunderstanding and you to think that I'm saying we're called to be perfect, right? Because clearly we're not. That's an impossible goal, and it leads to defeat and giving up. It's one of the common tools that Satan uses, right? We mess up, and he goes, see, you can't do this. Give it up. Like, it's not worth it. Just go back to what you were doing. Why are you even trying? And that's not what I'm saying. We refer often to heart posture when we're talking to the students, and that's what this is. It's a heart posture. When we fall, our goal remains the same. We get up and continue seeking holiness through him and with his help, but we're not looking for ways to cheat the system. All right. So that was verse 1. There's only 19 verses in chapter 3. So about an hour and 90 minutes to go. No, so the next few verses, the writer of Hebrews describes how Jesus is greater than Moses. And again, like I said in the beginning, right, this is something that's a little easier for us to understand, but at the time, that was more difficult. Obviously, Moses played a significant role in their lives, and the Mosaic law is what they lived by and what they were comfortable with up to this point, up to the point of Jesus and the new law. But what you have to understand, and what they were being taught in this passage, was Moses was a foreshadowing or a typology of Christ. There are a lot of typologies of Jesus throughout the Old Testament. I'll name a few. Noah's Ark is one of them. Abraham and Isaac, Joseph, the son of Jacob. All of these examples are what Jesus would be, right? These are all foreshadowings or pointing to what Jesus would be. But the point here is everything in the Old Testament and the New Testament, obviously, points to Jesus. And that was something that I didn't understand when I was younger, growing up, or a young Christian. We were told stories in Sunday school or whatever, and you think they're cool stories, but I didn't really think Jesus was part of anything until he arrived here as Jesus, right? Till Jesus was born. I didn't understand that as a kid. And when I realized, no, the whole thing is about Jesus, right? Everything is set up to teach us and give us examples of what Jesus would be and what he would do for us and how he would ultimately save us, because God knew from the beginning that that's what we were going to need, right? From the moment we sinned, he started working on this plan for us. And so that was kind of eye-opening for me to realize, man, this whole thing, everything is pointing to Jesus, right? It's just a different way to kind of focus in or realize what the plan was, what he was doing. So I'm going to kind of skim over those few verses, and we're going to go back to verse 7. The writer of Hebrews offers a warning, and I want to spend a couple minutes talking about that. So again, I'm going to read from the NLT, starting in verse 7. It says, I think there's another slide there. Oh, that's it. Sorry. I'm like, where's it at? All right. Starting in verse 7, so that is why the Holy Spirit says, today when you hear my voice, don't harden your hearts as Israel did when they rebelled, when they tested me in the wilderness. There your ancestors tested and tried my patience, even though they saw my miracles for 40 years. During some of our discussions with the students, the topic of miracles comes up, and it's a fairly common question. People often ask, if God wants us to believe, why doesn't he do more miracles, right? Why doesn't he do more to show people that he's real today? Here's the reality. He does, right? Just because we're not looking for them There's miracles everywhere. One of my favorite examples of this is in Romans 1, verse 20. Paul writes, "For ever since the world was created, people have seen the earth and sky. Through everything God made, they can clearly see his invisible qualities, his eternal power and divine nature." Why? So they have no excuse for not knowing God. I love that. Have you guys ever seen something amazing and then the next time you saw it, it wasn't as impressive, and then you saw it again and you're like, been there, done that, right? It's kind of common. It's human nature. And we do that with God's miracles, I believe, all the time, right? We just get so used to it. But every day we wake up, every day we have breath, every day we look outside and there's a sunrise and a sunset, we're witnessing his miracles. And we need to remember that. Have you guys ever wondered how the Israelites could have witnessed so much, seen so many miracles, and still rebelled against God? That's another thing, hindsight's 2020, right? So when you read these stories as a kid, you're like, man, what were they thinking? You know, these guys are kind of dumb. But then have you ever had somebody in your life that's going through something, and when they're in the middle of it, they can't see out, and you're looking at them going, well, they just should do this. They're kind of not making the right decisions. And then you hear somebody whispering behind your back, and like, what is Andy doing? He's not making good decisions. It's the same thing, right? Originally, I was going to talk to you guys about how seeing isn't always believing, but then I realized something. Belief wasn't the only problem for the Israelites. You see, they'd spent 40 years witnessing miracles. They saw the plagues in Egypt. They saw the parting of the Red Sea, manna from heaven to feed them while they were in the desert. I have a hard time accepting that belief was the only problem. The truth is, they made a decision not to believe. They chose to rebel. They chose not to follow him. Not because they couldn't believe, not because they needed more proof, right? We don't need more proof. I believe it was because they wanted to serve a different master. They wanted to serve themselves, right? We do this all the time. So I've talked to you guys a little bit about it before, but I had somewhat of a unique childhood where I witnessed things that made it impossible for me to deny the existence of God. I grew up with grandparents that traveled the world, did healing explosions. I got to see a lot of miracles. When something was wrong with us growing up, we didn't go to the hospital. We went to grandma's house. They lived like 15 feet away from us. Obviously, if a leg was cut off or something, we'd go to the hospital. But for, minor stuff, I remember one time I broke out in hives, and we went over to my grandma. She was taking a nap. She called them her siestas, and woke up grandma. She started praying, and I just got to watch those all go away. And I didn't even think much of it as a kid because that was normal. Like, that's just what we did. And I was like, thanks, grandma. And then I went out and played some more. No big deal, right? But, yeah, I've talked about this with the students and with my own kids, but there was a time in my life when I chose not to have a relationship, at least not a close relationship, with God. And honestly, it was honestly a period in my life looking back now where, and again, we could get in a theological debate about how one is saved, if you're saved forever, or if you can lose salvation, all that stuff. I don't want to go there, but I will just say it was a time in my life where it was a gray area. Like, I don't know for sure if I had died, if I would have gone to heaven. But during that time, it would have been much easier just not to believe. But again, I couldn't not believe, right? I'd seen too much. I wanted to just have fun without guilt, but I couldn't do that. I'd witnessed too much growing up. And yet, it didn't stop me from serving myself. It didn't stop me from doing my own thing. I made a choice not to believe, but you see, it wasn't really unbelief. That wasn't the problem. It was selfishness, right? I was making a choice. I didn't want to believe. Now, I'm not trying to be harsh, but I think people use unbelief as an excuse far too often. For some reason, sometimes it's easier to say, I don't believe, than to admit we just don't want to, we just want to be selfish, right? To say there's no God, I don't believe in that, then it's on him. It's not on you, right? Then we can choose to do our own thing. So again, in verse 9, God speaking here says, they tested and tried my patience, even though they saw my miracles for 40 years. So I was angry with them and said, their hearts always turn away from me. They refuse to do what I tell them. So in my anger, I took an oath that they will never enter my place of rest. Be careful then, dear brothers and sisters. Make sure that your own hearts are not evil and unbelieving, turning you away from the living God. You must warn each other, say warn each other, every day while it is still today, say today, so that none of you will be deceived by sin and hardened against God. For if we are faithful to the end, trusting God just as firmly as when we first believed, we will share in all that belongs to Christ. Remember what it says. Today, when you hear his voice, don't harden your heart as Israel did when they rebelled. So I want to focus on two things in verse 13. It says we must warn each other every day. Again, it's good to read different versions so that you can get a different take. And I actually went to the New King James, and it says, but exhort one another daily. It words it a little bit different, and I thought, exhort. And that's a word I've heard growing up in church my whole life, but I never actually looked up the meaning of it, so I did that. I went to the dictionary, and I looked it up, and it defines exhortation as an address or communication emphatically urging someone to do something. That has a different tone to it, right? We're called to emphatically urge each other not to be deceived by sin. Every day. That's what we're supposed to be doing for each other. So I have a question. Are you open to having someone in your life emphatically urging you not to sin? Like, really? That could get annoying, right? It could. My second question is, do you have someone in your life willing to do that for you? Someone who loves you enough that they care more about your well-being than what makes you feel good. My best friend, this is going to sound mean. I actually didn't really like him at first. He became a friend by association because my other good friend was hanging out with him at the time. So I kind of got stuck hanging out with this guy if I wanted to hang out with my other buddy. And man, some of the stuff he would say was just like awkward. It wasn't things that most people would like feel comfortable saying to somebody else. But I dealt with him because I wanted to hang out with my buddy. And then eventually we started carpooling because we all lived in North County, and it's a long drive to Avila. So wanted to save on gas. We all start carpooling together. And again, it's like I started getting to know him a little bit better, but I never saw myself really being that close with him. I just kind of tolerated him. Sorry, Jay. He wouldn't mind this story. I don't even know if I've ever told him this, but anyways, eventually my original friend left our department and he went on to another department. So now it's just me and Jason carpooling together, right? And I'm thinking, man, how did this happen? But anyways, at first it was like shallow conversation. We didn't talk about much, nothing deep, right? But after months of carpooling together, eventually that started to change, and we would talk about some serious stuff. And I remember, I don't know what exactly it was, but I was kind of venting to him about something. I was upset about something. I don't remember if it was work-related or what. But the response I got was not what I wanted or expected. Yeah, he questioned what I was saying, right? He offered an alternate to the story, or what if this is going on and you don't realize it, right? Or maybe you're wrong. And so I don't remember exactly how I acted. Knowing me, I probably just got quiet, or maybe I tried to defend myself a little bit more. And I remember going home thinking, well, maybe he just didn't understand what I'm going through, right? Like maybe he didn't get it. And the reality is he did. So as more time went on, that started happening more and more often, right? And I started doing that for him as well. And eventually we got to the point where we really started kind of running to each other for advice, because just telling someone what they want to hear, that's not a real friend, right? You're just fanning the flames of their anger. You're just pushing them along in this path of destruction. And he was that guy, probably the first, other than, like Pastor James growing up having a youth pastor that would do that. He was the first just friend that would do that for me. And subsequently, because of that, we're best friends now. He's the one that I go to for everything, and he comes to me as well, right? And I will never not have him as a friend. I love him. And it's important to have people like that in your life. It's crucial to have people like that in your lives. And the other piece of that is it's vital that we allow it, right? You have to let people like that in. People aren't going to speak to you that way. Well, they might, but it won't be received well. But you have to let them in, right? You have to welcome them. You have to find yourself a Jason. And it's not a popular thing in our culture, right? We don't want to be corrected. It's not something that you see a lot, and it's not really supported. Everybody says, do your own thing, right? But it's a mindset that we have to start changing, and we have to start allowing it. The second thing that I want to talk about in verse 13 is the word today. So verse 13 again says, you must warn each other every day while it is still today. How many procrastinators do we have in here? How many people just lied? Man. How many people have ever said, I need to start working out? But just not today. How many people have ever said, I need to make a budget and start saving money? But those are nice shoes. So just not today. How many have ever said, I need to start reading the Bible more? But just not today. Too much going on, right? We can just not today ourselves to death, right? So there's 4 keys to Hebrews that I want to go over. The first one is this, and we already hit on it, but we are called to be holy, right? This isn't something that we can play. I heard one person say it once, and I liked it, is don't expect a participation trophy. And again, I'm not going to say or get into this theological debate about whether you're saved or not. Once you accept Jesus into your heart, can you go back to a point that you're not saved anymore? I don't want to get into that debate. But I will say that I also don't want anybody to be in a gray area. Why would you want to chance that, right? So we are called to be holy. The second key here is everything in the Bible, both the New and the Old Testament, points to Jesus. It always has. That's what it's all about, right? The third is ignoring sinful behavior is not love, right? It's today's version of love, which I know we already talked about a little bit, is just supporting, right? Let that person do their thing. Show them how much you love them by telling them, yeah, you do you, right? Whatever makes you happy, that's what you should do. While we're watching them march off in this path of destruction, but I love you. That's not love, right? Love is telling the truth. Love is helping someone fix themselves, work through things, find a better way through Jesus, right? The fourth one, allow yourself to be corrected. Seek out solid, biblically minded people who will do it and make them a part of your life. That started with Jason for me. I have quite a few friends now that will do that for me. Obviously, Pastor James will do that, but it is important that you guys look for those people, right? Find a friend, a real friend, that will do that for you, that'll point you back to Jesus, even if it's not what you want to hear. Obviously, Donna does that for me as well. But so for years, I thought I would be happier serving myself, and it left me in a defeated, unfulfilled frustration because I wasn't doing the things Jesus created me to do. And I want to clarify something. During that time in my life when I was going through those things, sometimes people will use fear as like a jab at Christianity or religion and say, oh, I don't believe in hell. The only reason that guy believes in his religion is because he's afraid of hell, right? He's scared. And it's almost like an insult. First of all, you should be afraid of hell, right? Hell is a very real thing, and I know it's not something that we like to talk about much today in church. Nowadays, it's like, oh, the fire and brimstone preaching is kind of out of fashion. But we need to be afraid of hell. Hell is very real, right? But that's not the thing that drove me back to seeking a relationship at that time in my life, because I'll be honest, I was like a frog in boiling water, right? I didn't realize how things had got. I thought I was fine, right? The fear was not the thing that made me want a relationship. It was an emptiness. It was something that I was unhappy, and I didn't know how to fill that. Both of us were at a point in our life where we were unhappy. And we had all the things, right? We had the big house, the boat, the nice cars, the beautiful wife, the 3 kids, the dog, everything that should have made us happy, We had that, right? But there was something missing. And that's what drove us to seek the relationship. That's what drove us to press in, to get closer to God. And then because of that, because we got closer, in hindsight, I was able to look back after I did my research, after I started actually looking into what this was all about and not just spoon-fed things as a kid in church. And I went, oh my gosh, like, that's scary. I don't know what would have happened, you know? And thankfully, he brought us back. He brought me back. And we're to this point now where I don't ever want to go back to that gray area. I don't want to feel like there's a chance, right? I guess the biggest thing that I want you guys to take away from this today is I don't want you to just not today this decision, right? If you're here today and maybe you've never made that decision, maybe this is all new to you, and it's like, man, I'm curious about that, or I've been feeling this void for a while and I don't quite know what it is because it seems like on the outside everything's okay, and I keep trying to fill it with these different things, right? But it's just not working. If that's you and you've never heard this or had it presented this way and you're like, I kind of want to make a decision to accept Jesus into your life, don't wait. Don't just not today this thing, right? Or maybe you're like me and you're hanging out and you're thinking everything's cool, right? I'm just going to do my thing. Christianity is going to church, not cussing if I can help it, and that's about it, right? I'm good. I've said the prayer, the magic words. I'm going to heaven. And again, I don't want to get into a theological debate, but I also don't want you guys to live like that. Like, this thing is far more than just going to church for an hour every week. And that's what I want for you guys. So if you're there, if you're like me and you're in that gray area, don't just not today this thing, right? We're gonna if you guys would actually just bow your heads. If that's you, if you're either one of those people and you would like to make a decision for Christ today, everybody's head is bowed, nobody's looking, we're not trying to embarrass you, but we do want to help you take that step, right? We want to be here for you and support you in that. So if that's you, could you just raise your hand if you want to make that choice? Awesome, I see you. I see you, that's awesome. Thank you. I see you, man. Anybody else? That is so exciting. Thank you, guys. So, still with all your heads bowed, we as a church, we do this maybe a little different than some churches because we like to have the people that are making that decision feel the support of the church behind them when we say this prayer, because that's really what this is about, right? We're here to support you guys. We're here to grow and develop together in our relationship with Christ. So we're going to say this prayer all together. You guys ready to repeat after me? All right. Father God, I have done wrong things. I've sinned. I've made mistakes, and I'm asking for your forgiveness. You said in your word, if I surrender my life to Jesus and believe that you raised him from the dead, I would be saved. Jesus, I surrender my life to you. Father, I choose to believe that you raised Jesus from the dead. And right now, according to your word, I am saved. I'm a child of God, and I will never be the same. In Jesus' name, amen. Awesome. So if that was you guys, if you made that decision or you're still contemplating making that decision, we have these connection cards in the back of the seat. And on this black section here, it says, my decision today. And if you guys could fill those out and just check, which one of those it was you, or just, let us know that you made that choice. It's not because we're trying to bolster our numbers of the church or be like, oh, look how many we got. It's nothing like that, but we do want to help you in your process, right? We want to help you take those next steps. So if you fill that information out, somebody from the staff will reach out and get you, information, answer questions, whatever that looks like, but we want to be there for you to help you out. So, all right. Well, again, happy Father's Day. Randy, I'm going to hand it over to you, man.
Right. That was awesome, Andy. We're blessed to have Andy and Donna taking care of our youth. Well, I once gave my dad $100 for Father's Day, and I said, buy yourself something that will make your life easier. So he immediately went and bought something for my mom. And she's very smart. She's very smart that way. And Wadsworth said that when a son gets old enough to realize that his father was right, he usually has a son of his own that thinks he's wrong. So those jokes will come back in just a little bit. So I went to a Coastal Christian School graduation about 9 days ago, and it was interesting. I was looking, there was like 17 graduates, a small school. My son Caleb goes there, but he was a sophomore. He's going to be a junior. But we knew friends of his that were graduating, so we all went. And there was, in the Grace Bible Church, there was about 350 people, maybe 400. I like to count crowds. It's my thing. One of my things. As an usher for many years, it's important to me to guess and then count and see how close I was. So I did that. And I'm looking around at all of them. It just looks like rows of people. And you're going, okay, that's cool. Then at the end of the service, when they passed out the diplomas, they had this little tradition where after one person got their diploma, before the next person came up, they went down off the dais to a little place that had flowers. And they had already obviously counted how many flowers they needed. Some kids just took one bunch, some took 4 or 5, and they went out to their families and they presented them to the moms and the grandmas and some people even the aunts, but only the women, right? But what was interesting about it is my original thought was there's 350 people. It looked like a society. Now I'm seeing clusters of 17 groups, all interspersed through there. And it reminded me that it was like a microcosm of society. We think of society as this large group of people, but really it's families. It's just families. And to see that, the moms would get the flowers, the dads would be standing next to them, and it reminded me of the Ephesians where it says the man will leave his mom and dad and cleave to his wife. Cleave meaning to come closely to and to glue together. And so on Father's Day, I just wanted to remind us fathers that our most important thing to our families is actually to our wife first. Because that is what makes you a good father, is that the family unit be close together. Just like my dad gave the $100 to him, he gives it immediately to my mom. And he was smart. He knew what to do with it. So as you look at that, one of the things in society that I see happening, I've noticed the last 15 or 20 years on movies and TVs, have you noticed how they make the dad like a buffoon? Everybody's making fun of the dad, you know? I mean, even like, I used to love the show, Good Luck Charlie, you know? My kids and I would watch it. But it started ticking me off after a while because they made the dad look like an idiot all the time. He was just, and he would be like, oh, whatever, you know, I'll go golfing or whatever. And that's what Satan's doing. He's trying to get the moms to make fun of the dads and the kids to go along with it. And the dad just drinks or plays golf or goes out with his buddies and just like, oh, those guys, whatever. Fight that. Don't let that happen. That's ruining society when you do that. So just like I saw those groups of people making up society in that graduation, that's what we are. It's more important than politics. Society is a group of families. And so men, I ask you, the fathers, to please stand up. And so we can at least honor you. Everyone who's an earthly father, please stand up. Don't forget your rub in the back. But I also want to remind you that there is something that you may sit down now. There's something that all of the moms and children, you've probably already got your dad the gift, but there's something else you can give that I guarantee he's going to like even more than your gift. And that is what Aretha Franklin so excellently said, RESPECT, respect. And that's the biggest gift you can give the dad so that he can be cleave to the wife and raise the family in godly principles. Because TikTok's going to show you the life hacks. Dad doesn't need to do that. Dad needs to raise their kids with godly principles. Yes. So ushers, yes, thank you. Ushers, you can begin, start taking up the offering. We have many ways to give, as you can see. And also watch your screens, and we have a few more announcements.
Hello everyone, my name is Denise and I serve here at Agape on the worship team and also as a teacher in the preschool age kids. We are so happy that you're here today. At Agape, we want to make a place where you can connect with God, where you can grow in His Word, and enjoy a group of people where you can do life with. One way that we can stay connected is through our connection cards. You can get one from an usher or out in the lobby, or even we have a digital option where you can use the QR code on our worship guide. Once again, we are so happy that you're here today. We are honored to do life with you, and we can't wait to get to know you more.
At Agape Slow, we love to make giving easy. Here are 4 ways to do it. First, you can text 84321 to give a one-time gift or a recurring gift. Second, we have a Venmo, and it's @SlowAgape. Third, you can use our website, which is agapeslow.church/give. And fourth, if you want to give with cash or check, you can fill out one of these cards and place it in the buckets when passed about or in the gold box in the back of the auditorium.
Prayer works. Do you believe that? When things tend to go wrong in your day or just looking for direction, do you tend to go to the world first or do you go to God? Prayer is our way to connect with God. 1 Peter 5:7 says, "Cast your cares on Him, for He cares for you." God wants to hear from you. He wants to hear your biggest to your smallest concerns. Here at Agape, there are multiple times you can come and pray. First Sunday prayer is the first Sunday of every month at 6 p.m. in the auditorium. You can also come and pray at 6:30 p.m. on Tuesdays with Tom and Terry Wright. It'll be in the Family Life Center. And if you're an early bird, you can come at 6:45 in the morning on Thursdays and pray in the auditorium. Let's make prayer a priority in our lives. Come and pray with us.
All right. Well, prayer team, can you please come to the front? And anyone that would like prayer, please come up and avail yourself of these anointed and trained people. And we would like you to have an awesome Father's Day, and please show respect to your fathers and enjoy your day. Thank you.